Mark Rogers TV, the voice of college football. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for conversations with the best bloggers and broadcasters and writers across the nation. We talk Miami football. We bring in Isaiah Kim Martinez. You can join him on the Miami Hurricane. Isaiah, how you doing tonight?
I'm good, Mark. How are you?
I'm doing just fine. Always enjoy the discussion, and this is just an odd one. So we have two schools that weren't able to play, Arkansas State and Miami. This happens on occasion. It happens several times, of course, because of the devastating hurricane that ripped through South Florida and up the East Coast. So Central Florida missed a game against Georgia Tech. There were all sorts of missed games that had to be rescheduled or couldn't be rescheduled. Florida State also missed a game during that time. But we've got a situation where Arkansas State desperately wants to play this football game because of the revenue share against Miami. But Miami not finding room in its schedule, and we've got a lawsuit. Arkansas State filing against Miami.
Yeah, it's a real interesting situation. It all obviously started out with the hurricane and the dangers that it kind of looked like it was going to have this big effect on Miami. Ended up a lot of people here getting pretty lucky that it, at least the people here did, that it ended up going off course a little bit. But with Arkansas State already putting out comments back when this was all going down late last year, when they talked about Miami being afraid to travel up to Arkansas State, which a lot of people found a little bit kind of lacking some tact there. Like, we're having a situation with families and safety, and they're talking about fear of playing the team. So a lot of people thought that was the end of it. But here they are again, in the offseason, kind of bringing it up, and obviously the $650K, and now the lawsuit, and kind of giving Miami this deadline, saying like, hey, we're going to put you in a corner. You're going to pay us by this deadline, or this is what's going to happen. And, the athletic director, Blake James, and the entire organization just basically, didn't think much of it. Deadline passed. They're still trying to get something organized when it comes to rescheduling a game, whether it be 2020, 2021. They even talked about as late as 2024. And James, the director here, basically kept saying, I'm sorry, but we cannot fit this in our schedule. Obviously, these things get planned so far in advance, and it just doesn't work out. And clearly, Arkansas State is not happy about it. But we talked about this a little bit beforehand. There's this hierarchy, and Miami is not going to make a priority, out of not to discredit their school. Obviously, their organization, everything that they stand for is great. But there's a little bit more of, we have our schedule and we don't have the space for this right now. And that's kind of our concern, and they kind of have to respect it.
Yeah, for a school like Miami, one of the elite football programs in the nation, they play 8 ACC games. Therefore, they've got 4 non-conference games. Sometimes they are forced by the ACC in the contract with Notre Dame to play the Irish. Other than that, they're typically looking, as are most schools across the country at that level, they're looking for at least one marquee game. And then otherwise, they're looking for good matchups that aren't going to hurt them, that they can generally play at home. Although Miami willing to go to Arkansas State, willing to go to Appalachian State recently, but there's just a different set of purposes and incentives and goals and objectives for these two particular football programs in scheduling these games. And Arkansas State looking for that marquee game, typically once a year, that they can really, especially when they get the opportunity to bring this kind of program to Arkansas State, that's infrequent for them. And I'm certainly, I understand the disappointment that they weren't able to get this game in, because they're not able to get the likes of a Miami, Clemson, Florida State, those kind of programs to come to Arkansas State, but just not handling it in the best possible way.
Well, Miami didn't play the game, so Arkansas State decided to sue them, and the Hurricanes hadn't paid. They feel like the Hurricanes owe them money for the game, and yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it goes down. So I don't feel like it should be a case, because it was a natural disaster. It was not that Miami might have not wanted to play the game, but they were willing to play the game because it was on the schedule. So, but the fact of the matter is, it was a hurricane. It was Hurricane Irma ended up hitting Miami, hitting them hard, and they didn't want to. And I understand it from Arkansas State's perspective that they offered everything they could for the University of Miami. But the fact of the matter is, a lot of these kids have families down in South Florida. They didn't necessarily want to leave during that catastrophic disaster. So they decided, yeah, we just, it's just better off we don't want to play. And it's a non-conference game. that was more or less the big thing there. So yeah, I get it from Miami's perspective, but also get it from Arkansas State's perspective as well. They you got a school like the University of Miami, and they bring some constant income, and you want to get paid for a game that was not played. But I just think the whole thing, especially on Twitter, we're talking about Miami and kind of slandered them a little bit, calling them a party school, which I don't think that's very accurate because just because it's in Miami doesn't necessarily mean it's a party school. Miami is a very, if you look at academics, Miami is the best college in the state of Florida. So I don't think calling them a party, just typically a party school, is very accurate. So it's just kind of a lot of mudslinging going on right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how that all plays out.